Welcome to my video, How to Organize Workshops and Seminars, Part 1, Designing Your Event. In this video, we're going to dive into creating an event that your audience really is excited for and enjoys. We're also going to look at how to plan out the format for your event, and we're going to discuss how to structure the format of your event as well as how to design the outline of the event so that you take people on a really powerful journey. I want to tell you a little bit about my story so that you have some context for what I'll be presenting. I started my business 14 years ago, and before that, I actually worked with a magazine, a fashion and lifestyle magazine. And one of the things that we did at that magazine was events. We were really, really good at amazing events. That's why when I started my own business, my own consulting business, one of the first things I started to do was events because it's something I already knew how to do. So I started my business by doing workshops and seminars. I used to have them all over town. I lived in Miami. I would host them at restaurants, at all sorts of wedding venues and outdoor locations and bars. And basically, I would invite people to my workshops, and I did really well with those. I charged registration fees, and sometimes I'd even make a sale or two on the back end of my events. That led me to think maybe I could do a really big event. And so I created the Women's Success Summit, which became the largest conference for entrepreneurial women in all of Miami for several years. And I got burnt out. So part of what I want to share with you in this video is how to organize workshops and seminars in a way that doesn't burn you out. You ready? Let's go. The first important thing that you must do to organize workshops and seminars is to clarify the audience that you're going to be speaking to. Clarify the people that you're going to be enrolling into your workshops and seminars. Understand who's going to be in the room, what they need, what they're interested in, and what they want. Now, there's a couple things to consider. There's the obvious thing, which is what do they think they want? What do they think they need? What are they looking for? That's really important to understand because sometimes we can have an awareness of what they actually need, but they're not even aware of it. So you want to lead your seminar, your workshop, and create it thinking about what do these people already know they want and need. And then inside of the workshop, we'll talk about how to address the thing that they actually need, which may be a blind spot for them. Once you're clear about who the audience is, you'll want to think about how many of them you want to bring together into your workshops and seminars. Are you going to do huge workshops? Are you going to do intimate workshops? Are you going to do them in person? Are you going to do them virtually? So these are all really important questions to figure out ahead of time. Now, in this day and era of COVID and pandemics and gathering and social distancing, we want to think about what's the best way for you to get your audience together and deliver what you want to deliver to them. I used to think that the best way and the only way was in person. And now I'm really getting how valuable it is to create workshops and seminars online. Now, I'm not going to go deep into that topic here, but if you want to look at creating workshops and seminars online, check out my video about how to create online workshops and seminars. Once you're clear about who the audience is and what they are looking for, what they need and want, now it's time to settle in on your workshop or seminar value proposition. Your value proposition is what I also call a juicy promise. What is the outcome that they're going to get from attending your workshop or seminar? What can they expect to change in their lives as a result of having attended? I like to think about this in terms of outcomes. So one way to look at outcomes is cure versus medicine. This is a metaphor or an analogy for your promise. People are looking for a cure. They're looking for a solution to a problem that they have. And oftentimes they're going to have to take some medicine, aka go through some process in order to have that cure. Now, as you're designing your theme, as you're designing your workshop, make sure you focus your marketing, which we'll talk about a little later, on the outcome, but make sure that you develop the medicine. What's that process going to be that gets them that outcome? Now, in order to do that, you'll want to think about the format and structure of your workshop or seminar. How long is it going to be? Are you going to be with people an hour or 2 hours? Or are you going to be with them a whole day or 2 or 3 days. It really matters how much time you have in terms of how big of a promise you can make. Generally, a short time frame means a smaller promise, and a long time frame means a bigger one. Here's an example of a value proposition of a workshop that I did for years that really always generated a lot of buzz and had people get very excited. And I could do this workshop in an hour and a half, and I could also stretch it out to a whole day. The workshop was called How to Communicate Powerfully Without Being a Bitch. Now you can already hear what the value proposition in that is. Women are gonna learn how they can be more influential without turning people off, without having to be super aggressive. So that was a value proposition that worked really well for people. And then what I did was I structured the event based on how much time I had and how many people I had. So let's talk about how to do that, how to define your format, your outline, and your layout. The first thing I want to make clear as we get into this is that information is not transformation. And this is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're designing their seminar or workshop. They stuff it full of content. I call it the kitchen sink strategy. Everything but the kitchen sink. Oh, I have this piece of content and this piece of content and this exercise. And they try to dump all of it together. And what they forget is that people need space and time to integrate new things, new ideas, new perspectives, new strategies, new skills. And so when we go into a workshop or seminar and do the kitchen sink strategy, people often walk away dazed and confused. Or even worse, they say, hey, I got everything I needed, thank you, see you later. And they're not ready, they don't necessarily think they want or need the next thing. Now, one thing I want to share, and I probably should have said this at the beginning, is that I look at seminars and workshops as a means to an end. Yes, you can make money with them, but generally a seminar or workshop is 90 minutes, maybe a couple hours, maybe half a day. You can't change people's lives. You can't transform their businesses. You can't shift their lives or anything fundamentally in that short of an amount of time. So I see workshops and seminars as a stepping stone to something bigger. And if you overstuff that seminar or workshop, then people might be full and not be hungry for what's next. Now, I say this pretty carefully because one of the other problems I see is people being too light with the content or the transformation because they don't want to give away too much because then people won't buy what's next. So it is a balance. And what I've discovered in terms of my own experience and with many of my clients, that the balance lies in giving people a powerful breakthrough, a powerful aha, powerful realization, something that's really fundamental and important that completely shifts the way they think about a topic and gives them some tools and some strategies, but not overwhelming amounts of it. It's a balance and it requires some practice, in my opinion. So the point is, what you really want to think about is the journey from A to B. How are you getting people from where they are to that next step? Not trying to get them from where they are to the final step. You can't do that in a workshop or seminar, but you can get them from where they are to the next step. So defining what is that next step? What is that juicy outcome that if they got that, they'd be satisfied and still hungry for what's next, okay? So a couple ways to do that is, number one, don't be a talking head. Don't just get up there like I'm doing right now and talk the whole time. People fall asleep, they disengage, they get distracted. It's important to have people participate in their own learning process. One way to do that is to create discussion groups, breakout sessions, paired shares, pairing people up, letting them connect with each other, triads, groups of 3. There are lots of different ways to help people engage, but the key is it can't be you just talking in front of the room or in front of the screen the whole time. I hope you enjoyed video 1 and you're now ready to jump into video 2, how to organize retreats and seminars. Part 2, how to market, how to fill, how to enroll, and how to get people to take that next step. See you there.